Adam, everybody, and thank you for joining us right here on Wake Up Worcester. And this morning, our whole show is going to be devoted to getting you up on Facebook, getting you on Twitter, and especially if you own a business and you aren't using these sites to your advantage, you are really missing out on a huge part of your audience. Laura is here to tell us about it. John's here to tell us about it as well. Both of you have some seminars, and both of you really, a part of your living comes from letting people and letting businesses know how they can use these social networking sites. John, you've got coming up on Wednesday morning at 8 o'clock, Holden Chamber of Commerce. You're going to be talking to chamber members about exactly this subject.
That's exactly right, Hank. And you said we derive part of our income from social networking activity. Every business out there today, regardless of whether it's family-owned or whether it's gigantic corporation, should be deriving a greater percentage of their income from social media marketing. It's a whole new phenomenon.
Laura, it's interesting.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while since you've been on with us, but one of the things that you said that I have noticed and is so true the last time that you were here and we were talking about this was the fact that when you and I, if you and I go and have our Facebook page, then that should be our Facebook page. And we shouldn't really be trolling for business. We shouldn't really be, trying to make the business contacts through our page. That's for, well, now I see these fan pages. Is that what that's about?
There's a difference. There's the account that you have as a person, a human being, and then there are pages, groups, and other things that go underneath it. The account is actually meant to be the umbrella that sits over the other things. So a lot of times you'll see someone like business name, that's their first name and their last name, and they set it up as a profile as a human being. I mean, I can't be friends with a business. I'm not going to be friends with you either. But you can be a fan of a business page, and that's what both of us encourage people to do, is to create business pages to help promote and drive a significant fan base that can accomplish some pretty significant things.
Now, there's obviously a lot of bleed-through on this, John. I mean, the people who are friends of mine, most of them are also, fans of or friends of Wake Up Worcester. As a matter of fact, the Wake Up Worcester page we set up on Facebook before there was such a thing as fan pages.
Correct.
And it's a great way to be able to stay in touch with people as well. But how many people actually use it, in your mind, correctly?
It's probably a very small percentage. Laura would probably agree with that.
I would.
Not because they're doing it incorrectly, but because they're not doing it, which is in fact incorrect. And they need to understand that Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Flickr, all those sites like that, many people think they've been introduced to them because of their teenage children. Well, remember that old advertising phrase, orange juice, it's not just for breakfast anymore. Well, Facebook, it's not just for teenagers anymore, even though it was started at Harvard less than 10 years ago.
Precisely.
Wow, isn't that amazing? Just 6 years.
And now there's 350 million members.
It's actually up to 400 million now.
No kidding. Now, 400 million members. It is impressive. But how many people are actually using that, Laura? Because
2.5 million are actually active on a daily basis, and typically the average usage is about 2.5 hours every single day.
2.5 hours.
Oh,
that's my buddy Sherman.
Now mine's around 9.
Sending me all that Farmville stuff. I mean, I don't even know that I have a farm. Sherman's taking care of all that. And then I got another friend who's constantly trying to get me to help rub people out in mafia wars.
I know, right?
What's up with these two games? They take up an awful lot of time.
I know. You know what's really funny? There are more people playing Farmville than there are farms in the United States of America.
I can
That's
believe
a
that.
fact. Look it up.
Hey, Willie Nelson might come back with Farm Aid 30 again this year. You never know.
Farmville Aid. That's it exactly. Well, but this does bring us to the fact that there's a lot of different things again going on Facebook. So that if we talk about business, you want to have your fan page, but how much do you also kind of want to maybe be saying something witty or pithy when you get up in the morning or at night before you go to bed, so that you are kind of networking with people that way? How much do you want to, if you see that a lot of your business clients are pretty much while they're at work, they're playing Mafia Wars, should you be rubbing somebody out during the day to be one of the gang?
I find that there's definitely proper ways to use things as a business person. If you don't have a job and you don't want one, then by all means, play Farmville all day long. But there's also a lot of
and if you don't ever want to get one because somebody might look at you and check out your profile and see that you're playing.
Well, they
had that article not too long
you can't
ago
be that
in
good
the
at your
Herald,
job.
It turned out that the people who are, the staffers who are going to these meetings for all of our, high political monkey mucks, are doing just that. I mean, they're tweeting while they're in the meeting. This meeting is really boring.
Right.
Like, this is wicked boring. I wish that I was not here.
I don't recommend that behavior.
That doesn't make sense.
I try to actually encourage people, when you're engaging, in the account setting and it's just you as a human being, you want to be yourself. Don't share things about last weekend and what you did, because you have a mixed audience. I always like to deal with the lowest common denominator. If the lowest common denominator is the people that have the least access, those would be the professionals. They don't need to see me without my makeup on Christmas morning. Nobody needs to see that.
Same with me.
Right?
Same with me. I have my makeup on every Christmas morning.
I bet you look good.
But you got to look good. But this does bring something up. Now, again, if we're talking about some of the business applications for this, if the picture that is of you on your Facebook site is you with a beer in your hand and 3 of your buddies, that can hurt you, right?
That's a giant issue. I did a survey on LinkedIn, and I asked the question of the HR folks that are responding to this, how many of you check out social media profiles of a job applicant? The interesting statistics were that 60% of those HR people who responded said they check out the social media sites of the applicant.
I'm not surprised.
The scary thing is 40% of those applicants are discounted from further consideration because of what they posted about themselves, which is the younger people drinking and the group photos. It's the young people with their arms around each other with the beer.
Yeah, and they want to look like they're
Your profile
hip
picture is important, and you know what? You can have all these pictures in your Facebook account. The way around it, and I think we talked about this before, is through privacy settings and also proper categorizations of your friends. You're in one category, John's in the same category, but my mom's in a whole other category. She knows me, she can have access to the whole thing. But my friends, maybe they're not as close to me, then there's other people, different levels of access, and they can see what status updates I do, they can see what picture albums I choose to share, what videos, what pictures are tagged of me.
Now,
I have complete control.
But how hard is it to set that up? Because I think that a lot of people of us, this goes back to the age thing that we were talking about, and you were saying, John, that older people are on Facebook. They are, but I do think that you get to a certain age and somehow we have in our minds that, oh, I don't know how this works, I don't know how it sets up. I mean, how many of our friends still don't even have a profile picture?
Well,
because
fear of the unknown. They're like, well, I don't know how to do it, it must be hard. It's not hard. I mean, the beautiful thing about Facebook is they make it so easy to do everything.
And they've made it easier to interface with other platforms at the same time. Like YouTube,
Absolutely.
You can upload directly to your Facebook page, where before you had to go from the video camera to YouTube to Facebook or to BitLi or any one of those other programs. It
cooperates with all sorts of things. I mean, it will duplicate posts from Twitter, and it will cooperate with friend feed and let people know, like if you have friend feed that's like an aggregate of all these other ones, and it's feeding Facebook, Facebook is then publishing for you, if you want, all these other things that are going on other sites, so you are one connected person.
Yeah, that's very interesting, and I see both of you doing that. For us here at Wake Up Worcester, we'll use YouTube, for example, so that if we post a show, if we post a clip of a show, it will show up on Facebook, it'll show up on Twitter, and I know that we get obviously a lot of hits that way as well. Very interesting. We're going to talk much more about this straight ahead right here on Wake Up Worcester.